Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Late Podcast, Episode 2. My name is Quentin Juno, aka Dr. Q. Welcome to just a little bit of some musings. I was thinking about it the other day, and yeah, mostly musings here. Not really, at least yet, not really too much on the directional mindset, so to speak. I mean, I'm trying to get more directed. We're working at it. There's a few things I'd like to talk about today, a few ideas I have. We're going to be doing another top five today. I hope y'all are excited to take a look at the top five Nick Cages. But I'm still trying to think of just a little bit more to do, you know? Not going to ponder too much on that. I'd like to talk a little bit more about what was happening this last week, right? So, had the late podcast go out, the first episode. Guys, thank you so much to everyone who listened to that. And of course, thank you if you're listening to this one as well. Really appreciate it. Make sure if you are maybe watching on YouTube and you have Spotify, you haven't taken a look yet, you download that Spotify, follow that Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Spotify. Hey. But either way, we got that first episode out on a few different platforms, which was actually a lot less scary than I thought it was. I was a little bit intimidated. I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to get this on Spotify? I haven't been able to figure out how to get my music on Spotify other than by paying somebody. Am I going to have to do the same thing? And I was like, okay, if I have to pay somebody to get this podcast out, I'm going to pay somebody to get this podcast out. Of course, need to get it done, right? Ended up finding this service, though, that actually just released everything. I have to say, though, that man, I was really building it way up more than I needed to. There was no reason, no need for it. It was all me versus myself. Like I've been saying, like everyone says, like I think I might have even mentioned in the last episode, sometimes it's just a matter of getting out of your own way, right? And I'm happy I did, happy we released that first episode. Got me thinking a little bit more and got me feeling pretty good, you know? Like I was saying in that one, I was even thinking that day, I was like, I want to film the next one already, right? But instead, the next day, I went and actually we had some steaks that were ready, right? So I ended up cooking some steaks that I had been preparing all weekend, basically, right? Been sitting in the fridge with salt on them, just getting nice that dry brine, you know, really just get a nice look to them. And they were looking all right. They were looking okay. But unfortunately, after they got cooked, your boy found out that he way fucking oversalted them. And it, I don't know why, man, but it fucking broke me for a second. Like, it sounds so dumb to say, but spent, like $30 on all this meat. Yeah. $30 on all this meat. Spent a weekend waiting for them, flipping them in the fridge, like they were on a wire rack, so it could have circulation and, just spent a weekend caring about them for them. And I go and cook them and, I let myself down by not knowing what I was doing. And I messed up a little bit. Not that big of a deal, right? But for some reason, just not having I don't know what it was. It was like not having control of the situation, just not being in a spot where I was like, I don't know, man, like one more layer of oh my God, I can't do it, It was that feeling again. Took me a little bit, but after a little bit of time, thinking a bit, spending some time on stream with y'all, which has been going great, by the way. We're just breaking, I think, 84 subs or something, and 300 followers, which is crazy. Thank you guys for coming by. But it was one of those things where it took me a little while for me to finally get on the other side of that feeling. And eventually it came to the point where I was like, hey, Q, one, this is the first thing that I've cooked in the past like year and a half that I've taken cooking seriously. 2 years or whatever, a year and a half, I think. I don't know how long it's been. because for a nice chunk of that, I was drunk, like very drunk, right? But for a nice chunk of time there, I was taking cooking somewhat seriously. Actually, yeah, it's been maybe a year and a little bit. And in that time, I haven't cooked something that I haven't been able to eat, haven't enjoyed, you know? It finally took way over salting meat. Now that I think about it, now that I think about how much I put on it, it's just, oh my motherfuck. What was I trying to do? Prepare this shit for a voyage overseas? Like what? We got a long winter ahead. We got to make sure this meat is salted enough that it'll preserve. My God, I was putting enough on there that I'm sure my arteries were getting upset with me just off the jump. They're just like, I'm watching what you're doing via your eyeballs. Got blood in there, my blood was watching what I was doing and it was getting upset with me, understandably, you know. And hey, took a year for me to finally fuck up and make something I didn't like. Whatever, you know. Pretty fucking good food so far. Pretty fucking happy with it. Speaking of, today, my roommate and I decided to try cooking something a little different. She had the idea to cook like sweet and sour chicken. For those that don't know, I live with a couple, along with my brother. We live with a couple, and I asked them earlier, I was like, hey, do y'all have any plans? Y'all have any plans for dinner tonight? I would really like to cook something. I'd like to tag team something. Tag team a meal. It feels good to be in the kitchen. But it also really feels good to be in the kitchen with other people. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about the camaraderie of it, I've always cooked by myself. I've always done most shit by myself or with my brother. And when I do something with my brother, when we do something together, holy fuck, we can get in some arguments. We get in some fights. Shit, we were thinking of making a YouTube channel. We were thinking of doing some like commentary stuff, all that kind of thing, like video games. And all I could think about is how in every video we're going to get into some sort of fight. That's all I could think about is like, okay, so what will the conflict be in this video where we're trying to, get a full game, when we're trying to win the game for the competition and do the thing, and we disagree on something. Because what's going to happen is we're going to bitch and fight each other, and neither of us is going to be happy at the end of it, but it'll probably be funny. So maybe we got to do that anyways. I think we have to. Can't remember exactly where I was starting with that, but I think I was talking about doing things with other people. And for me, cooking with other people is a damn treat. And cooking something new with other people, hooey! Like trying something. This is the first time I'd really tried to like fry like chicken bits, like for something like what we made was basically sweet and sour chicken. We had fried little chicken bits and they're like in little strips or whatever, And we made a little sauce and coated that, made some rice, that whole thing. It's fucking fantastic. But it's the first time I'd made something like that. First time I'd really tried. And it worked out, came out fucking great. I knew it would because I was watching what we were doing and I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like any part of this is really going to go wrong. I mean, all the steps seem to be in order. We started out by browning all the chicken separately in a wok to make sure that, it wasn't overcrowded or whatever. We made sure, that all the chicken was fully cooked and nice and crispy. Got that separated out of there. Then we went ahead and we, fried up some onion, a little garlic and ginger. Fucking made a sauce. I'm just happy we tried something new. And I'm happy that it worked out. I think even if it didn't though, man, I think I'd be all right because last week that shit really didn't work out. And that was almost like the ideal situation for me to get fucking pissed and like really get frustrated. At least lately when I've been having issues with with dealing with frustrations, But like, yeah, man, like losing $30 worth of meat, like what the fuck? That kind of sucks. But yeah, I just got on the other side of it, got on the other side of that emotion. And in the midst of getting on the other side of that emotion, I didn't want to cook it all. So me and my brother have been eating a bunch of McDonald's. And it's been making me feel pretty nostalgic. I got to be real with you. It's been making me remember when, as a kid, McDonald's was a huge treat for us because we lived in this place called High Level, which is about 8 hours north of fucking anywhere. And man, it was so fucking out of the way. We had an A&W, we had a KFC, we had a Subway, and you had to drive about 2 hours south to get to McDonald's. And McDonald's had a fucking playpen. They had the toys. It was always on TV. McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. And as a kid, as a 5-year-old, 2.5 hours away, or 2 hours away, 2 hours south in Peace River, that's about 10 decades away from you, you know? And you haven't even seen a single decade, right? You've seen half a decade and you're like, well, that's going to take me about 100 years to get there. Like, there's no possible way we're ever going to have McDonald's. I remember, though, me and my brother taking a long, long, long car ride. Backseat, of course. I mean, where else are we going to be? Children. Favorite blanket up in the front. What's the word there? Like hanging from the roof, blocking the rear view and everything. So me and my brother can chill in the back and the adults can smoke in the front seats while we're driving wherever we're driving. I was probably reading a book or playing Game Boy. No idea. My brother's probably doing the same or fucking annoying me. We head south, go and do something in Red Deer, something in Peace River. But the highlight of the trip, the highlight of like the 5-hour round trip, the 200-year round trip in a child's mind, right? The highlight of that shit, motherfucking McChicken. Just that McChicken sauce. And the fact that it was in a fucking box. Like, go to A&W, you get your burger in a little paper thingamajig, right? It's still tasty, but it's not fucking McDonald's. It's not that McDonald's McChicken, bro. Not that early 2000s. That fucking late 1990s McDonald's McChicken. They probably had that chicken juiced up, juiced to the gills. Fucking an underwater chicken. That's what they had. They had that chicken doing push-ups, sit-ups, getting a few steroid shots, running back out in the field, you know, fucking up some other chickens. And that's our fucking meal, baby. And McDonald's, man, kind of gets me thinking about Nick Cage. I know that might sound silly, but what can I say about Nick Cage that I can't say about McDonald's? Reliable. See Nick Cage in a film? You know that might not be a high quality film. Might not have any other great actors in it. Might have a really terrible plot. No story. What's a story? This is a Nicolas Cage film. We got Nicolas Cage to show off. When I watch a Nicolas Cage film, I just want to watch Nicolas Cage doing different things. That's it. I just want to watch Nicolas Cage pretending to be a detective, like in Wicker Man. Nicolas Cage trying to be fast, like in Gone in 60 Seconds. Nicolas Cage being sad, like in The Weatherman. Nicolas Cage being a criminal. Face Off, maybe. Con Air. Classic. Motherfucking scientist, Nick? I mean, National Treasure, he's kind of a scientist, right? He's exploring, more museumologist, Nick, right? That's kind of that. But I think he's kind of a scientist there. I also really like him in The Rock. He's definitely a scientist. Like 100%. Isn't he like the FBI's smartest fucking bioweaponologist or some shit? Has to help find the bioreactive material for the nerve gas to stop them girls. They're gonna spray everybody, and oh my god, it's gonna be terrible. Just what I know is that I'm gonna enjoy any of these films because I'm gonna just see Nick doing some different stuff, you know? Fucking. There's one film though that I kind of think fits all of those. Those are my 5 types of favorite Nicks. I'm still trying to figure out the order, guys. Like, I'm watching a bunch of Nick Cage films now. Just recently got done watching The Color Out of Space, and I also got done watching Grand Isle. Fucking weird. But let's go back to the one film that I think fits all 5 of those categories. Criminal Nick, Detective Nick, Scientist Nick, Sad Nick, and also Fast Nick. And that's Ghost Rider. 100%. He's Fast Nick in that. I mean, that's Fast Nick for sure. And then we got Sad Nick, because like he loses people or something. He's sad in the film. I'm sure he's sad in the film. Like 100% he's sad in that film. He's kind of like not a spiritual. He's like a paranormal detective scientist in that as well, right? Because he has to bring souls back to hell. And like there's, I don't know why I like lassoed a bitch, but he kind of lassos a bitch with his thing, you know? But the idea I think is that he's a bit of scientist in that he has to, you know, he has to find his way around the supernatural defenses of his opponents to capture them. And he's also a detective because, like, he has to figure out where the fucker is and, you know, send him back to hell, a la Ghost Rider. And, you know, it's just, I think Ghost Rider is a classic movie. Like, fuck. It's hard to miss when you're watching a Nick flick. What can I say? Even those movies that I was talking about earlier, The Grand Isle, maybe it was just Grand Isle, and The Color Out of Space, they might have been really fucking weird, but they were actually all right. I mean, if you just went into it and you're like, I want to watch a weird Nicolas Cage film, either of those is a great choice, man. I tell you, either of those would be a great choice for you. Spoilers ahead if you haven't watched Grand Isle or The Color Out of Space. Spoilers ahead. Stop listening if you don't want to be spoiled. But I gotta be honest with you, the story is not the reason you want to watch these films. It doesn't matter at all. Just doesn't. I'm sorry, they're not entertaining for the story. They're just not. I mean, that's not the core reason. That's not the main reason why these 2 films are great. That's not the main reasons. The main reason is fucking Nicolas Cage is off being Nicolas Cage in it. All right, so let's talk about Grand Isle real quick. Grand Isle. Nicolas Cage and his wife are fucking weird. Right off the bat, you can tell that Nicolas Cage kills people. Just like you can tell. He's got the long weird hair. He's fucking speaking in weird old like cryptices and shit. Just like, yeah. He just seems like he's like, yeah, always trying to fuck with people. And he just has this bad vibe about him, you know? Just has a bad vibe. And I mean, obviously, I think it's like right in the beginning, you do see that he like kills someone. Or maybe he like, it's not shown that he kills the person, but it's definitely shown that they're taken by old Nicky Boy, right? Well, we come across a young gentleman who Nick hires to repair his fence, which was actually broken by another victim. Herp derp, you know, that person's going to show up later. But the thing that I find most interesting is just the way that Nick interacts with this dude, right? Because once he starts doing the one-on-one thing with the dude, once it's not like the wife and him doing their like, oh yeah, we're sweet, weird serial killer lover things, right? Once it's that, once it's not that, once he's just trying to be like this weird like Marine dude around this young guy, it's just Nicolas Cage with some hair, long hair on, talking to this dude for a little while. Like that's just what it felt like to me. There were just moments where it was just like, it's just Nick. You know, it's like he's not the character anymore. It's just like, oh, this is Nick trying to be a serial killer. All right, okay. One of my favorite moments that just shone through. I wonder if he wrote it himself. I don't know. I wonder who had a hand in writing this. It was fucking awesome. But Nick has the young dude who had to stay overnight for some fucking hurricane reason, you know, some bullshit manufactured to keep the dude locked in the house. Manufactured by the movie, not by like Nick the serial killer in the movie. It's just like, you know, it's something that happens. But they're in there and they're having some dinner. I think they're chilling out afterwards, right? After dinner. Nick and the dude one-on-one. And Nick looks at him and he hits him with a... I need to get into Nick Cage mode when I just... Oh, Nicolas Cage, Okay. What are you doing? He hits him with the... When was the last time your wife sucked your cock? I'm Nicolas Cage. When was the last time your wife sucked your cock? And of course the dude gets a little upset, right? This is a weird question to be asking out of the blue. And Nick and his wife, he ends up, you know, they have a conversation and it's this whole thing. It's a weird sex game they're playing, right? Fucking around with this young kid. But just, there was something purely Nick about that moment where he was just, when was the last time your wife sucked your cock? It was just, there's moments like that. It's the bees, no, the bees. I can't do his voice, man. Not when I'm screaming. But he's screaming there. The bees are being poured in and Wickham, not the bees, I cannot imagine the pain of the bees, but neither could Nick, man, and you could tell. I don't know, it's just a pure Nick moment. Fucking, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's another moment in the movie The Color Out of Space, which is actually just a fucking trippy old boy. That is a trippy old tripster, I tell you. That one had me going for a loop. We have the dad, played by Nick. We have a witch daughter. I can't remember who it is. She's a good actress. Young dude, younger dude. Mom's kind of... I feel like she's been in a few other horror movies and she's always done a pretty good job. I actually appreciate her as an actor, right? There's no such thing as actors and actresses. Everyone's an actor, right? That's the thing. I don't want to get fucked up on this because I completely get it. I completely understand. I just don't want to fuck it up, you know? But either way, it's just, for me, that film... Well, everyone else does their part, is really just a place where Nick shines. It's just moment to moment of Nick being fucking crazy, fucking chucking tomatoes into a bin, going, yeah, there you go, yeah. Like, while his wife is yelling at him about her problems of not using the satellite dish to make money for them, he's more worried about farming these alpacas. That's right, he's an alpaca farmer. While his wife's out there making the big moolah, playing financial sectors, she's doing big deals, making paper, making bank. She should be wearing grills. He can't even mess with the dish. No, instead he's just chucking tomato. Yeah, there you fucking go. I do everything right. Screams, I do everything right. How does he talk? Man? I got to get into this. I do everything fucking right. I can't do his voice, man. It's embarrassing. I really should have got the Nick Cage voice down before I did this, huh? Before I decided to talk about my top 5 Nick Cages. I do everything fucking right. Nope, this is embarrassing. But also, come on, Nicolas Cage. In this film, these tomatoes he's talking about grew overnight, and he's thinking that they're going to taste good. Obviously, they're not. They're fucking magical super space tomatoes, right? It's actually a pretty good film, The Color Out of Space. If you like creepy shit, if you're not afraid of really weird, like animatronic looking shit, not animatronic looking, but it's like a creature. There's creatures involved, okay? If you don't mind creatures, Color Out of Space is pretty cool. Also, if you want to see Nicolas Cage scream at his children for doing children things, Color Out of Space is pretty cool. He gets a lot of those moments, though, where it's just, you can tell it's just Nicolas Cage trying to be this guy. But hey, that's what I was saying, man. Like, every time I watch a Nicolas Cage film, I kind of go in and I know I'm going to have a good time. Just like every time I go to McDonald's and I go through that drive-thru, I know I'm going to get a burger and some fries that'll fill me up a little bit. That'll do the thing, you know, that'll satisfy me. That it'll satisfy that point I need. Hit me with that salt blast to the face. You know, it'll do some of the stuff necessary. Hit me with that big old salt blast. I know, that's what Nick is. It's just that sturdy salt blast. Nicolas Cage, you know? That sturdy salt blast. There were a few other films I wanted to watch by him, just to get a little bit more acquainted. I feel like I haven't actually seen in a while. I haven't seen Gone in 60 Seconds in a while. That one I think is worth a watch for sure. Along with that, Con Air, and actually Face Off. I don't think I've ever actually watched that film all the way through. I think it's on Netflix. I might even give it a shot tonight. The movie Leaving Las Vegas, I need to give a shot. I've heard good things about it. Old Nicolas Cage is a sad boy. I believe the idea is he's literally an alcoholic who just decides he's going to Las Vegas to drink himself to death, which is a pretty fucking sad premise, right? But hey, I think it's probably worth a shot. I mean, a lot of people have said that it's a good show, good movie, quality. And I've heard it listed amongst his, ranks as ones you got to watch. So I think I need to give that a look. I'm still trying to figure out where all these films rank in my list, or at least where all my favorite Nicks rank, I think this list I had written down here, I think Fast Nick being number 1 is probably right. Scientist Nick number 2. That includes The Rock and National Treasure. I'm counting them both there. Number 3, we're going to go with Criminal Nick, Con Air / Face Off. Though actually in Face Off, isn't he a detective? But he ends up becoming, or like the criminal that he impersonates takes over his body. So he is a criminal. Like, he acts like one, you know what I'm saying? He does criminal shit. So that's why I'm saying he actually kind of gets criminal and detective Nick there, which is also my 4th detective Nick, 4th on the list. Wicker Man / Face Off, I believe. And then, of course, we got Sad Nick down at number 5. Got to be sad in the bottom. Weatherman, and also Leaving Las Vegas, a film I need to watch. And also, I've heard everyone else kind of needs to watch. I don't know, man. I think it's a good idea. Give it a shot. Take a looky-loo over at Leaving Las Nicolas. I wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsor of today's episode, Pokeplay. Did you know that there's a place where you can play Minecraft with Pokemon online? I mean, you might have known that, especially if you stopped by the stream. You might have seen us playing on there, especially on the Hoenn server. But man, this spot, I tell you, it's kind of like, it's like every Pokemon game you ever imagined as a kid, right? Because it's 16-bit, and you mother flipping walking around trying to find little marsh tomps to beat up, right? I got this guy right here. I found this dude. Found him in Pokeplay. Took him right out the game. I said, you're my friend now. We're going to roll around at the speed of sound. He might look a little upset about that, but he's okay with it. And it's all thanks to Pokeplay. Pokeplay.io. Pixelmon in Minecraft. Whether it's OP Pixelmon, Shadow Pixelmon, Maybe trying out the Hoenn playthrough, which is a recreation of the fucking Hoenn map. Or the Indigo Current Beta, which is a combination of Johto and Kanto regions together. You should come and check this out, man. Minecraft Pokemon in a fun, interesting way. There's some adventure, or you can play Survival Pixelmon. Come and check it out. Come check it out. Links in the description. Pokeplay. Play.pokeplay.io. It's the IP address. I just haven't had so much fun beating up a Pikachu in a while, man. You know? It's even better than Game Boy. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? One of my favorite Nicolas Cage facts that might be completely wrong. I should probably Google this before I say Nicolas Cage facts. Allegedly. One of my allegedly favorite alleged Nicolas Cage facts that are alleged is that he had purchased like a dinosaur skull. I want to say like T-Rex bones or some shit. And they were out in a big old mansion in France that he had. And it turns out those dinosaur bones, those were not of a legitimate progeny, so to speak. As in, somebody had discovered those bones in someone else's belongings and decided they might take them and sell them, you know? Maybe somebody said, hey, museum, these bones here? Well, I know a dude who's been in some movies who might pay me some moolah for them. He has a castle out in France. Could I maybe, I'm just going to steal these. And then he stole them and he sold them to Nick. I don't know if that's the exact process of, transactions, so to speak. But it was one of those instances where it's so typically Nick, it's like national treasure. He's kind of living his life, It's like what he probably does is these moments are happening to him in real life where he is adventuring around the world in private jets with his buddies, trying to find secret artifacts and shit. Because when you're, a multi-millionaire movie star, why not? Right? Why not? Just go and take a boat trip out on a catamaran out to Catalan and see if there's any underwater fucking monuments. Explore yourself a few monuments. Find Atlantis. You got a little bit of time. You might be working 2/3 of the year, 1/3 of the year, right? Rocking out a few. I'm not saying they're not difficult months, but you rock out a few months of work, 6 months of work on a major motion picture, maybe even 9 months of work. I don't know, a year. I don't know how much some of these go, but I'm saying you rock out that amount of time, then you kind of just have a nice window, right, where you can ride along, let that film do its thing. It seems like ride with your money, as an actor, do your thing. Unless you're Nick, who seems, I've heard stories, and by heard stories, I mean read articles on Google where he has castles and shit. I mean, he's got dino bones getting seized. He's got French castles. This guy's like living a lavish life. Maybe he actually has to go and steal cars for some sort of international criminal conglomerate a la Gone in 60 Seconds. Maybe he has to. I mean, we don't know Nick. We don't know his life. All we know is what he chooses to show us. And that is the fact that he is a ghost rider and he brings demons down and unruly souls back down to hell. That's what he does. That's his penance. This past week has been a pretty good one. It was a little tough, I got to be honest with you. There were some moments, especially trying to get this out, actually. Not this specific episode, but the last LAYT episode. I was so unsure on when I could release everything. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Of course, now I don't know if this is the best time to say it, but I'm going to be releasing the audios on Tuesday and videos on Wednesday. I mean, obviously, it's a bunch into the video, so, or the audio, the podcast. So I don't know if this is the best time to say that, but That'll give me enough time where I can edit the video as much as needed, you know, and also just make sure the audio's cut out. Do that Tuesday, get that out, you know. But I was really struggling, man. Like, especially in that editing process, I couldn't figure out, okay, there are certain things I need to do, certain things that I know I can do. Like, there's even videos out on how to do it. For example, putting the text at the start of the video that shows like the late podcast, number blah, and the title, right? Putting all of that, as simple as it is, when I start having more things added onto my list, if I don't know where to start, if I don't choose a starting point, I can get really, I just get bogged down with being unable to start. I get massive choice anxiety, right? And this actually happened the other week, funnily enough, calling back to the steaks that I ruined with those steaks. My roommates had went down to the farmer's market and had said, hey, while we're down there, we can pick up some meat for you if you'd like, because I know you haven't been grocery shopping for a bit. Still haven't, by the way. I think we're going on Wednesday. Fuck. But we were texting back and forth, me and the roommate, and she'd given me a bunch of options. At first, she had said something like, they have sirloins here for like $10 a whatever for like these large steaks. And I was like, oh, you should get 3 because I have an idea. I want to cook one for just myself. Then I want to, cook something for all of us, right? And then she started sending me messages like, okay, and they also have these other things. Like, here's a picture of the sheet of everything that they have. And I don't know what it was, man, but as soon as I saw all of the options, I just had to take this huge breath, and I like slouched in my chair, man, and I just couldn't respond. I could not respond. I couldn't figure out what the fuck to say. I couldn't even figure out to say, oh, don't worry about it. Just get those other 3 that you were talking about. I couldn't even do that because I was looking and there were options. And like, I could have picked this, could have picked that, could have picked this, could have picked that. There would have been that option be good for this, that option be good for that, that option be good for this. I wanted to do that. I did want to do that. I actually wanted to do that too. Maybe we should just get more than 3 steaks. Maybe we should get this, 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 and this. But really, should I be spending that much money on this? And should I be spending that much money on that? And but if I start buying so much meat, then now I have to start, also committing my time to making that much food, because otherwise the food will just go bad or it'll freeze in the fucking freezer, and then it'll, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And it took me 10 minutes to reply to her saying, hey, sorry, dude, I actually can't choose anything. Can you just do the other 3, please? And like, she also said, she texted me. It took so long for me to text her that she texted me back at the same time I texted her, or it went through saying, I'll just get the other 3. Like, holy fuck. I think it's mainly just because everything has been so overwhelming lately. But something as simple as like, okay, I want to put text here, here, and here in the video, or I want to make a little, not logo, but like a text template that I can pop up every time we have the video, right? If I have something as simple as that, like 5 things on the list, all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck? What's a list? Why would I ever do any of this? But I don't know, man. There's a moment where I know, that's the thing. I know that I'm thinking this way. So when I start noticing that I'm getting better at taking a second and just going, all right, Q, what's going on? What's really important here? Is it super important? Is it super necessary for me to get all of this text on this video, for example? Is it entirely super important and necessary to have the LAYT podcast, blah, 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 numbered blah on the video? I mean, it's nice and it's something you want to have, but if this is too overwhelming and you just need to get this out, dog, if that's like the important thing, just get it done next week. Don't worry about it. Don't stress out so much about it. Maybe work on it in between. So I figured out how to do a little bit more text work, a little bit more work in DaVinci and all this kind of stuff, and a little bit more editing work. Obviously, if you're listening on audio, these aren't really big concerns. You don't have to worry about what you see on it, right? It's just, hey, this is a fun spot to listen to. But I think a little bit of it's like once all of these things start coming together, man, the overwhelmingness, right? It's taking a moment and pausing. That's really important. I think we all might need a little bit more pausing, especially when everything's moving so fast, constantly, fucking internet, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, internet, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, fucking Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, fucking Twitch, 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 Twitch. Take a look here, take a look there, take a look there. Fucking ad. New video, new stream. Take a look. Yeah, watch me live. Yeah, watch me now. Take a look. Everything's constant. Tweet, highlight, tweet. Fucking top tweet, favorite tweet, like tweet. Fucking retweet. Fucking Instagram, story. Look at my shit. Fucking follow my MLM. Fucking check out my snakeskin boots. They're made vegan hand friendly. No vegan hands were harmed in the making of these boots. Everything's just constant. Pause. Take that time, my friend. Pause. Because if you can't pause, if you can't make yourself pause and stop and just say, all right, this is a second where we are consuming this entire second, you're not in control. And that's not good. You need to take that pause, pal. You need to take that pause. Get in control. Take that pause. All you need is that 1 second. All you need is that. Okay, what's important? What matters? What can I figure out a way around? Bam. I don't know. It's never going to be that simple, of course. Never going to be that simple. Like I said, it took hours and me fucking sitting here sad and shit. But I don't know, man. Even when everything could send down, it can be good. There's someone I hope is able to find some peace as well right now, man. And that's it's Kanye West. It's kind of going through some craziness. It's going through some pain right now, I don't want to say the word craziness. That's not I just mean it has been a trip to watch on Twitter publicly as someone who does not know this person at all. Has not, I fucking appreciate his music. Cool art. Fucking, great influence. But it's the crazy thing to me is just how public his situation is, It's so scary just how open he has to be, or not has to be, but how open this situation is for him. I don't understand what it could be like for him. I just hope he has to. I hope it has to. I hope he can find some peace in his pain, man. This is some. The scary thing about it to me is that we were talking very seriously. A lot of people were talking very seriously about him running as a serious political candidate. And I think that kind of goes to show just the level of misinformation that is so common, might sound a little silly. Might sound a little silly to say that, but he's been very public about his bipolar and his mental struggles for a long time now. So when you see someone like that starting to speak in a way that isn't regular, I don't know, maybe that's the thing. Maybe the idea of Kanye running for president is not so out of character for him, right? But I think it's just seeing the way that he was acting afterwards, where you have to be like, oh wow, This is a person who's really hurting and going through some troubling times right now, right? Mental health. We got to worry about it, my friends. We got to worry about it. We got to take a look. I don't know why I always have to end these sad, or I always have to think about some sad things. Trying not to. I don't think I'm aiming to, but I don't know. I just want everyone, if you're listening to this, maybe we need to take a second sometimes to realize that it's not all rainbows and sunshine and fucking happy days, and that there is some sadness just to living. And if you try to run away from that, it's going to be a bad time. Addressing some of it and saying, hey, this sad thing happened, or this sad thing is a situation we're all watching. I don't think that's, I think that's a healthy thing to do, man. I think it's healthy to get that out the way. So I think I'm going to keep on doing that. That's the thing. That's the kind of funny thing, though, right? This is an improvement. This is an improvement every day, every week. I mean, life is something you're improving at, but I'm specifically talking about this LAYT podcast here. It's something I'm trying to improve at week by week. And right now, obviously, there's a lot of like base level things that need to be improved upon. But I don't know where I was trying to go with this. There's a lot of base level things that need to be improved upon, and I have ideas about how to do that. I have ideas for what I'm doing. But the only way you can really truly be successful as an online content creator is by catering to the will of the masses, the anonymous masses, of course. So if you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave that somewhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Write a letter, an angry letter to me, and light it on fire in the backyard, you know, maybe along with a Husky Mudkips plushie, something like that. Just ideas. But I am very interested in improving this. I have a thing of primer. I have a roller and a paintbrush. And I think tomorrow, the wall behind me, the wall in our area here, is getting cleaned and is getting primed so that I can get this place looking a little nicer. I mean, obviously, here on the podcast, the video isn't the most important thing. The look isn't the most important thing. It's more about creating a strong audio, strong experience like this, right? A fun time. But the, what was I saying there? Oh, but things like improving the area, the visual, all of that. There's something about it that just lifts up the spirit, bro. You know, it's like a fucking hug right there, man. Just having a nice area around you, having a clean bedroom, having a freshly made bed. It's like somebody coming up and giving you a hug that you know, like a consensual hug, not an unconsensual fucking creep fest. Not that dude at the party who's like, oh, where's my hug? Man, I've been that dude before. I had no idea I was that dude. I had no idea. But it was one of those things where I was with a group of friends, and one of them was, they were never uninclusive. That's the thing. One of them had to finally come up to me and be like, hey man, you shouldn't ask for a hug. You don't need to be asking for hugs. It's not something you need to be doing. I'm just like, oh, but I've seen that in like TV shows and movies and stuff. That happen. And they're like, yeah, but like, you know, we're all friends and stuff. And like, if that's going to happen, it's going to be like an arms out thing. It's just going to happen, man. It's not going to be a big deal. Unless it's like, and this wasn't the person talking to me, but I got to be real with you. Asking for hugs is fucking, you should do that. Asking for hugs is great. Sometimes you just need a hug, right? Let me go back to the story though. I just remember hanging out with this group of people. Fucking, oh. You know, end of the night, we're all done hanging out. Stand up to say bye to everybody, that type of thing. And one girl goes around, that person a hug, that person a hug, that person a hug. I'm like, and she just looks past. I raise my arms, And she just looks past me and I'm like, hey, yep. I was I was being creepy before. I'm happy someone told me. I had no idea. You can't just, especially when you're dealing with nice people, man, you can't take advantage of the niceness, right? Because nobody wants to tell you that you're being weird. They just might not invite you around again, right? It's a part of growing up, though, man. Like, that was only 3 months ago, though. No, I think I was like 11 or some shit. Young enough that I barely remember it. I just remember feeling fucking embarrassed. Hey, that's life. A series of days and then nights spent lying in bed thinking about the embarrassing things that happened during those days. Oh God. I'm just making myself frightened of my own past now. Just, I acted shitty. Can't be afraid to act. Let me see. Not can't be afraid to act shitty. Can't be afraid of your past. Can't be afraid of your past. You can be afraid of who you were. You can be afraid of a few different things, man, but can't be afraid of your past. You have to be able to address it as a static thing. Does that make sense? It's a moment. It's a time. It's the past. If you treat it a little bit more like reading a book instead of a imprint of who you are, as though the past actions you've made are you, are your act, are your is your present, right? As though your past actions dictate what you're going to do in the future, you know? If you keep treating it that way, you're going to run into trouble, man. You have to be able to look at it like a book. Say, these things happened. Why did they happen? Okay. Good, bad, how should I look at it? You know? Do I need to change? Cool. Hate the idea of, hey man, never change, bro. No one, you never change for anybody. Never change ever, man. Why would I change, bro? I'm perfect. Fucking God made me this way, bro. Why would I ever change? It's like, no, 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 no. You are the potential. You are not. You are not the immediate, my friends. You are the choices you make, not your immediate reaction to things. I don't know too much. I just know that I'm not who I was yesterday unless I choose to be, right? I hope everybody has been having a good week. When looking at it from the end of it, from this day, I have to say I had a pretty damn good week. Appreciate you guys. If you didn't know, I stream over on twitch.tv/Dr. Q, DOQTOR, QUEUE. Should come check it out. Stop by. Stream pretty much every night except for the day that I film this. And that's the Monday. Come and stop by. Follow, hit that notification button. I'll be live as soon as I can, man. Right now it's just all about internet. That's another reason I was really frustrated, man. I'm ending off this podcast, but I wanted to say, no, you know what? I don't need to talk about it. I was just going to say, I haven't been able to stream before like midnight for this past like 2 weeks, except for just random times where I can stream during the day. And normally, I got to be real with you, that would probably be enough to get me to stop streaming. But I'm just pushing through it, taking that breath, taking that moment. figuring out what's really important, worrying about that. Appreciate all y'all. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. There's all sorts of things you can do depending on where you are, man. But whatever you're doing, while you're doing all those things, just make sure you're having a good day. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what else to say. Appreciate you. Fuck. Have a good one, y'all. It's been a spicy meatball today. A spicy meatball. Just a quick reminder before the video ends. If you have any questions, anything you'd like me to talk about, any ideas, just anything you'd like to talk about, hit me up over at THELAYTPODCAST@gmail.com. THELAYT podcast@gmail.com. TheLaytPodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up with an email. Let me know what's up. I'm going to come up with some more ideas. Hope you guys are having a nice day. Thanks for stopping by. Next episode soon. Next week, actually. Audio out Tuesday, video out Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye.